Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashabashim Kudash, and double honors to the great and apostles. Thadi Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video. It's the brother Ratazar Racha and that means willing spirit, praise Yahweh. Ratazar meaning willing, Racha meaning spirit, and then Halawaya meaning praise Yahweh. It's the same name as the channel. And when we say Kal Halayim La, it means all praises to. Kal means all, Halalim means praises, and then La means to. And then we're saying all praises to Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai. When we say Yahweh, which means he is, he exists, or he is to be. And when we say Bahasham, it means in the name. Ba means in, Ha means the. Sham, Sham, means name in the ancient Hebrew, by the way. And when we say Yahweh Shai, that his name means he delivers, because he will be the one of whom will deliver Israel, more specifically the elect in these times to come. Well, in these times that we're in currently right now. And when we say Bahashem Racha Kodash, we're saying in the name Spirit Holy. Racha means spirit, Kodash means holy. So through the Holy Spirit, that's how we'll then connect to Yahushua, and Yahushua intervenes for us, of course, as we do our servitude to him on our behalf to Yahweh, man. Hence why Yahushua is the mediator. So that's the reason why we say Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushua Bahashem Racha Kodash. You know, when we're giving all praises and when we pray as well. But yeah, anyways, this is just the part 2. Shouldn't be too long, because to the other video on you know, the apex king of the fish, you know, is warming up the seas. I think I named it along those lines. So, you know, I'm gonna just copy and paste the title and then just put part 2 Yaratazar, because I said I was gonna do it because I need to read Joel 41. But yeah, this is from the movie. Either it's artwork or it's genuinely from the movie called Godzilla Minus One. You know, Godzilla Minus One, as you can see here, it says Godzilla Minus One Heroes and Villains fandom. So this could be some custom artwork as well, or it could generally be from the movie. I can't remember if this was the specific scene. I knew he had spikes like this, you know, on his, you know, on his back, you know, his tail and his spine, you know, he has those spikes. But I think the movie's on Netflix anyways. You know, it's based on another country. If not, I think it might be Japan or Korea. Either one of the South Korea, or it could be Japan. But the point being is, this is a representation, or just a fictional representation of what Leviathan could be like, man. You know, with the terror of which he would then impose upon people just from the sight of him alone. I mean, I believe it will be way bigger than what they illustrate Godzilla to be, man. Because Leviathan, the size of Leviathan, man, fear's going to be felt. But yeah, man, as I said, you know, it can't be too long of a video, because the main points, really, I mentioned it in the previous video, man, about the starfish. You know, it just, people just start to see. I think it was I forgot the state again. I'm not sure if it was California. No, it can't have been in California. But yeah, one of those states I mentioned in the part 1, where in the news channel, where you know, there was a 9-limbed or 9-armed starfish that were just being found by people near the beach shoreline. So the point being is that with these, and it's not just starfish as well. I'm gonna play another clip, but I just wanted to get into Joel 41, you know, wrap it up, and then might do extra. Now that I think about it, it might be a little bit long, but you know, point got to be proven. But we could start out by mentioning Joel 41, which is based upon Leviathan. It even says here, God's power shown in creatures, and of course, a major creature is also Leviathan. There'll be many more creatures as well, and monsters as well, man. And that's why Esau's also pushing this MonsterVerse movies. And when I say MonsterVerse movies, I'm talking about like from the time of Kong Skull. Obviously, they had these in the 90s as well, I believe. But the reiterations of these movies are here as well. You know, Kong Skull Island, you know, Godzilla. Of course, they had many Godzilla movies as well. And, you know, even in the Godzilla movies, there were many, how could I say this? Unknown beasts. That's really the best way I could say it. You know, like the pinnacle of the, I don't know how to say this, but the pinnacle of beasts, that the bigger ones, the more dominant ones. I think Godzilla, King of the Monsters, I think that was a movie previously as well. That's many beasts. You had the dragon with 3 heads. I don't know if they call that one Hydra, but there's a name for it, probably in Greek. But yeah, all these MonsterVerse movies are alluding to the creatures of Yahweh Shimi Ashai that Yahweh has hidden for a very long time, and they will be revealed. But this Job 41 is based upon Leviathan, and again, this is just a representation. In terms of it's a rocky scale. In terms of its skin, Leviathan is actually described like this as well. To a certain degree, because it also has let me just read it. So Job 41 and verse 1, canst thou draw out Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down? Just like a normal fisherman. You have a fishing rod and you got the hook, you got the bait as well. You cast that into the sea, or the lake, wherever a person would fish. And then you intend to catch either small fish or just a little bit big fish, man. Those guys who take pictures and certain Edomites, or sometimes they may be Jakes, of whom would go fishing, catch a big fish, take a picture of it. You might see them online, man, like on Instagram or on YouTube. But the point is, you can't cast a fishing rod to catch Leviathan. That's the point of verse 1. It says, and anyways, as we just saw in this image here, you ain't flipping catching that with a fishing rod, man. Like, its skin is very, very hardened. And we're going to get to it. So it says, verse 2, canst thou put an hook into his nose, a bore, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make many supplications unto thee? He will speak soft words unto thee. Will he make a covenant with thee? Wilt thou take him for a servant forever? You can't negotiate. That's what the rhetorical questions are alluding to right now. So verse 5, wilt thou play with him as with a bird, or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Canst thou fill his skin with barbed irons, and his head with fish spears? Because his skin is pretty much impenetrable, man. And anyways, in one of the movies, Godzilla movies, they actually tried to send nukes on Godzilla, but that thing was pretty much charging him up. Every time they were firing missiles or projectiles at him, that was just charging him up. Because for any brother who's seen one of them, Godzilla just have a mechanism which allows him to shoot sparks. I say shoot sparks. The reason I mentioned shoot sparks because I think it's even mentioned in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 11. But I'm gonna get that one at the end. But I want to focus on Job 41 and get to another video. So yeah, the point is you can shoot lasers out of his mouth, which is or like a, well, yeah, it pretty much looks like a laser when it comes out of his mouth, man. But it's like a fiery, it's like a focused fire from within. It goes from the tip of his tail and it charges up, and then it comes out of his mouth, man. Fire just devouring everything. So yeah, hold on. It says in verse 8, lay thine hand upon him. Remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? You see? Which means people are going to fear, man. So that was verse 9. Let me see if I can get this. Fear. Men's hearts. It could be an apocrypha as well. Let me keep that on there and just check it here. Men's hearts failing. If I could even get it. So this is Luke 21 and 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And yeah, so the things, examples of things that will make men's hearts fail, which would obviously invoke fear. It means like body just shuts down from out of fear, man. I'm laughing because like a few caps ago, brothers are making examples of people shaking with fear, man, just dancing. But yeah, I think that was like 3 caps ago or something, 3 weeks ago maybe. We had some Jakes mirthing it up, and uh, Captain and another brother as well, man. They were taking a mick about how Jake in that time as well are going to be in a fearful state, and even not just Jake as well, but the heathens too, man. You say you tell another person run, but you yourself you're frozen. You have an intention in the mind, but your body ain't following what you're supposed to do. So that's the type of fear that Leviathan is gonna invoke on all these other monsters that the Most High has yet to reveal to people. That's why Luke 21:27 it says men's hearts failing them for fear. Right, so yeah, verse 9. It says, behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down even at the sight of him? Again, Luke 21:27 supports that. Once they see Leviathan, some people won't be able to stomach that type of sight. A very fearful sight, man. So it says, none is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who hath prevented me that I should repay him? Whatsoever is under the whole heaven is mine. And yeah, everything is under the rule of Yahweh, man. Everything is under the control of Yahweh ultimately. So verse 12, I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. So of course he's gonna let Leviathan flex in that day, man. Let people see the full reach of the appearance of Leviathan, the power of Leviathan as well, and of course his other parts as well, which is really just alluding to his skin and his face and his whole appearance, man. Man, people are gonna fear in that day, but Darak Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which Darak is like saying through Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's we're going that's why we need the strength of Yahweh Yahushai, man, to preserve us in these times. So that when we do behold that sight, we'll be left standing, man. That's the point. Because at the end of the day, all creatures are subject under the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. So why then do we need to fear when he said that we're going to be in league with the beasts and the animals of the field? So of course, we're getting back into those days, back in when we were in those bodies, Yaratazar, that we are, the first fruits, where as I read in not Job, but in Genesis, I think 121 about, it's actually in Genesis 9 as well, I presume. Let me see if I can get it, where we have dominion over the animals, man. And of course, Leviathan is just a major animal, as Akim called him. As Akim called the Leviathan the Most High's pet, so bear that in mind. Alright, so there's a 9 and 3, maybe I missed it. No, it's not Job, not actually 9 and 26. Probably mixing up verses now, Salak, yeah. You know what? Hold on. Oh, okay, 126. Okay. I mean, yeah, I read in the last video, but it's all good. So Genesis 1 and 26. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image. Well, I said the Most High, but, it's the root word is Elohim, but the root word in ancient Hebrew is actually Elohim, which Elohim is rooted from, if you go deeper into the ancient Hebrew. And Elohim refers to powers, judges, supernatural beings. Essentially gods, but with a lot lowercase g. It says, let us make man in our image after our likeness. And you see, that's why it says, let us. So the judges, the supernatural beings, plural, let us make man in our image. So of course there were a group of angels, there were a group of the first fruits, which are really the elect today. That's why I say Yeharatazar, that we are those men of whom created the earth, man, of whom Yahushua was guiding to create the earth, because he was the chief angel of whom was given direction to us to know what to create from what end, from one portion of creation to another. But anyways, it says that after our likeness, let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, man. So of course these are talking about the creations, man. Of course Leviathan would be included in this too. The fish of the sea. The only thing about Leviathan, he's just a very major a very major fish, but he ain't a normal one. That's one thing we can definitely agree on. Alright, let's see, Job 41 again. Actually, wait, let me try this. Okay, cool. So that works as well. Alright, so verse 13, who can discover the face of his garment? Who can come to him with his double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. You should try and see the teeth of a darn shark, man, or what's it called? What's this movie called, man? Is it called Megalon or something, or Meg? I think it's called Megalon. Let me see something here. Yeah, Megalon. What's it called? Meg movie. Hold on. Yeah, the Meg. You should have seen the teeth on this thing, man. I don't even think I've even watched this. Despite all the time that I've seen it many times be recommended either on Amazon Prime or Netflix. But Yaratazar, maybe I should try and watch this, man. But you should see the teeth on that thing, man. Real life fish as well. Certain sharks be having multiple teeth. In fact, speaking of multiple teeth, let's see something here. How many teeth does a shark have? I was looking for the short answer here. Alright, so it says Natural History Museum. I won't click on the link. It says, how many teeth do sharks have? On average, sharks have between 50 to 300 teeth arranged in up to 10 rows. How often do sharks lose their teeth? And the point is, it says 50 to 300, and that's just with a normal shark, man. With a normal shark. Let's see what so how much more Leviathan, man? How many teeth do megalodons? Megalodon. Oh, damn. Megalodon, the truth about the largest shark that ever lived. These jaws were lined with 276 teeth, so close to 300. As studies reconstructed the shark's bite force, suggesting that it may have been one of the most powerful predators. So, these things definitely still exist, man. As a matter of the Most High pretty much just waking them up. You gotta ask yourself, man, where does Esau get his ideas from? So it says, his skills are his pride. Verse 15, Job 41 and 15. His skills are his pride, shut up together as well as with a close seal. One is so near to another. It's all about the scales here, that no air can come between them. You see, so again, referring to that image again of Godzilla here. His scales are so close to each other, which air can't even pass. That's how thick his scales are, man. So it says it, yeah, that no air can come between them. Verse 17, they are joined one to another, they stick together, that they cannot be sundered. By his neesings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like eyelids of the morning. You know, bright. He's gonna be bright, man. So you probably see that glow from the eyes. Now, out of his mouth go burning lamps. See, where do you think Esau got the idea of Godzilla from? Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Did I not mention that before? About Leviathan having fiery breath like a laser? Let's see that image. Oh yeah, the three-headed one was actually called King Ghidorah. You know, I think it was in King of the Monsters. That was the other Godzilla movie. Yeah, hold on. Where's that image, man? I'm trying to see that image. Yeah, right here. Yeah, that's the laser that comes from Godzilla, man. I think I remember watching this as well. You know, I think, yeah, you can even see it right there, man. Hold on. Because they were sending nukes on Godzilla, man. You know, some projectiles to charge him up. You know, King of the Monsters. So yeah, this literally Godzilla, they got it from the scriptures, man. So Leviathan's gonna have quite a unique ability. And it says that out of his mouth go burning lamps and sparks of fire. Sparks of fire leap out, man. Does this not look like a spark of fire? You know, as they call it, dragon's breath. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the image right there. Now hold on. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, out of a seething pot or cauldron. His breath kindleth coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. In his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. Yeah, because when you see that type of creature, Leviathan, coming out in the seas, people go fear in that day, man. So, yeah, verse 23, the flakes of his flesh are joined together, they are firm in themselves, they cannot be moved. So whatever projectiles Esau intends to shoot out, it won't do nothing. So they cannot but probably charge him up that the way it charged up Godzilla. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as stone, yea, as hard as a piece of the nether millstone. When he raiseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. And the Most High is raising up Leviathan right now, man. Hence why you have all these sea creatures flipping just coming out the ocean. Imagine being kicked out of your own home, man. You know, when you got a very mighty neighbor. That mighty neighbor that's disturbing the home is a Leviathan. You know, so you know, when you just can't handle the heat. So yeah, man, like, as I said in the other video, Leviathan is warming up the seas and the oceans, man. So when he raises up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breakings, they purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold the spear, the darts, nor the habergeon. Let's see what habergeon means. The habergeon.
Strong's H 8302, Shiria, and second entry, Shirion, and third entry, Shirian, and fourth entry, Sarah.
So Shirion, which is also the root word of Habergeon or Habergeon. It means body armor, a weapon, perhaps a lance or javelin. And as it says here, you know, Habergeon, so it's like a body armor or some javelin, which is also could be seen as a weapon as well. It says, he esteemeth iron as straw and brass as rotten wood. The arrow cannot make him flee. Yeah, so them nuclear missiles, you ain't gonna be scared of that. Godzilla weren't even scared of the projectiles when they were being sent on him either. You know, he was flipping charged up by it. So really, you're helping Godzilla. Esau will be helping Leviathan if he starts to shoot. So the arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear. So that shows you right there, man. The creatures have the intelligence, man. If the fish are flipping able to laugh, you know that they can reason. You know, they're not dumb. The only difference between them and man right now is the fact that man has more means of communication than a fish. Yeah, just because they can't communicate with you doesn't mean that they're dumb. So, which really they can. They communicate in their own certain manner of ways. With their body, let's say body language. But anyways, let's continue. So it says, darts are counted as stubble. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear. It says, sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mire. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. You see? He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. You see that pot right there? Job 41 and 31. He maketh the deep, the oceans, the seas, to boil like a pot. When water gets too hot, Akim, let's say you're pouring hot water or you spilt some hot water from the kettle. Do you not withdraw your hand from it? Or whatever part that it may have touched. Let's say, let's use the hand for example. Would you not withdraw your hand from a boiling pot, from a boiling kettle? So it's the same way as Leviathan, over here, with this illustration of Godzilla, as Leviathan is waking up, he's warming up the seas just by his mere presence of him waking up, man. I think I even mentioned it in the video as well. As you wake up, your body warms up. The same way Leviathan's body is also warming up as well. Warmth, you can see it as a signifier of life. But yeah, man, let's get into it. I said let's get into it. Hold on, let me finish it. That's what I'm supposed to say. So verse 31 again. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. He beholdeth all things. He is a king over the children of pride, man. So really, Leviathan is one tough creature to not play around with, man. One tough creature. Esau cannot flipping put it under subjection either. So yeah, let's get to the video, Yaratazar. Yeah, this is about brother, GMS dedication. Let's see. So it says that all creation is groaning. We will soon be one with nature, man. So let's continue. See, the animals are angry, man. The elephant flipping trying to overhaul that forgot the name, man, but the building machine thing. But yeah, I think it's called an excavator or something. Excavator. But yeah, one of those things that you use in construction sites. Obviously, Esau's done a horrible job with the management of the resources upon Earth, man. He's been given the fatness of the Earth, but it doesn't mean that you flipping use it foolishly, though. There's a way to preserve the habitats of the animals whilst also, attaining to the needs of humans as well, man. But, again, Esau is the wicked seed, so how he manages things would be a reflection of his nature as well.
Kristen, kena air ini?
Tidak apa-apa.
Tidak apa?
Thing about orangutans as well, they're very smart creatures, man. They're very smart. I think in one of these, either David Attenborough or he's the one who narrates most of them, anyways. Our Planet, I think that's one of them. Is one of them is on Netflix as well. Actually, no. I think there was a clip on YouTube where an orangutan was actually given a saw, some wood, and immediately it discerned that the sharp tool, the saw, was used to supposed to be used to chop off or to saw the wood. So anyways, these creatures are smart, man. The Most High has given, the intelligence in all creatures, really.
Orangutan attacks man at the zoo.
The amount of memes that I've seen of this, man. But yeah, this is you can see this as a little teaser to there's a scripture on this as well, man. Well, actually, yeah, I said I was gonna bring it in the end, the creatures which will appease the wrath of him that made them. Obviously, Ecclesiasticus 39 and 28 is one of them as well, but there's one in Wisdom of Solomon 11 that I want to bring out. And obviously, don't underestimate those limbs, though. Even though the orangutan may look a little skinny there, they have their strength, man. They have their strength. My gosh, look at that. Look at that. The limbs may look, slender and all, but they have strength beyond a person's comprehension. So yeah, don't underestimate an orangutan if you ever, meet one on the streets, ask him of whom are destined to be pilgrims, man. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you'll be cool with them. They'll be cool with you. So you might even eat dinner with one. Anyways, I may be laughing now, but that literally could happen, man. Most I provide you food and you give some food to the orangutan. You guys talk with spiritual power. That the Most High has blessed you with to communicate with them. But yeah, man, don't limit your mind to what the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Most High Yahweh can provide for you, man. And of course, Yahushua in that time will intervene for us. He sent us Ruach Kodesh already. We simply just increase in the potency and the power of it as we're guided by Yahushua.
Tangannya ke sini, tangannya ditarik nih.
I mean, if only the Most High knows what that guy did in his past life, man. But anyways, you can consider that a mercy anyways, man, because, the orangutan was just, holding his shirt and flipping, holding him tight. But yeah, man, imagine if that cage wasn't there, though. Who knows what could have happened.
These are all dead jellyfish, you guys. What is going on?
Remember, we're gonna get it again. Job 41 and verse 31. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. So Leviathan is really the cause of all these animals are just flipping, giving up their lives, on the seashore.
What is going on? All of these. Look at this.
And those things are very soft, man. If you've ever actually been to the beach before, and you've been near a jellyfish, if you feel a jellyfish, to touch your skin, whilst it's swimming along, and you see it, them things look really weird, man. I mean, obviously, it's all the creation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, but it's just how they look, man, and how soft they are as well. But the Most High has got a purpose to each thing that He created, even if it's for something as simple as beauty as well. But the Most High does what He will. But yeah, point being is Leviathan's warming up, and that's causing all these creatures to come up. But yeah, it's there's more on this as well.
It's so sad.
Other fish.
This is so sad.
Most people have no idea what is happening right now to the biggest mammals that Earth has, at least that's known. If there's any more past the ice wall, whatever. This is shocking. Wait until you hear what's happening to these poor whales. So as you may know, whales, everything about them is dependent on, their survival is dependent on sound. They hear their prey, they hear their mating calls, they talk to each other hundreds of miles away. A whale can be on one side of the ocean and yell to another whale hundreds and hundreds of miles away, over 1,000 miles, and communicate at that distance. They have their own languages. They have figured out that these freaking things got big brains and a lot of folds in their brain, which increases their IQ, their potential for intelligence. According to this documentary, which we've heard very little about, and I recommend everyone watch, what's disrupting these whales, unfortunately, is something that is so horrifying. Picture this. I put headphones on your head, I tape them to your head so you can't take them off, I crank it to full blast and press play, a noise that is so deafening. Wait until you hear what these poor whales have to listen to. This is why they're beaching themselves. Thousands of cases of whales escaping this deafeningly loud noise that's making them go crazy, and they'd rather perish and drown.
You see, so this is also another thing in terms of the Most High allowing Esau to put his hand in the sea, I should say, because obviously the whales, they communicate with some kind of echolocation frequency, same thing as bats. Obviously, I would say that as different frequencies. Obviously one is in the sea, the other one is in air. Bats are in air, whales are in the sea. So that could be another reason as well. If Esau's flipping technology, sonar sounds, in the sea with his ships, those then disturb the fish, and then they can't bear the pain of receiving that unnecessary sonar sounds, from the ships. Them flipping Navy ships, man. No, obviously that's referring to America, but point is ships anywhere, with whales, they'll be very sensitive to those vibrations, those sounds. And, you know, imagine hearing that, man. That would be quite irritating as well. You know, so let's see. Yeah, so that's another reason Esau and his flipping sonar sounds irritating the creatures, as well as Leviathan waking up combined with it all. Yeah, that would be a very good standpoint into why they're giving up their lives, you know, on the seashore, man. As you can see here in the video, you know, flipping whale just lying down on the beach, man. You know, certain dolphins as well. Whales, you know, different types of whales. I know I said dolphins, but yeah, man, it says whales here. But mainly it's fish as well, fish in general. Imagine those sounds which the Most High programmed them to emit. Imagine those sounds then getting interrupted by the dance sonar waves and vibration of Esau's ships, man. That would just be annoying. It's like hearing a glitch when you're listening to a song. It keeps repeating itself sometimes, you know. That's what it probably feels like for these whales, and it's annoying.
Something was causing all these whales to want to abandon the deep water and get the hell out.
Like this, I'm not fucking with this. This is the doomsday fish, aka oarfish, and they wash ashore when there's an impending disaster coming to the area. They just found one in Mexico. I know that sounds like bullshit, but scientists say there might be some truth behind this because this is a deep sea fish, so it may feel the change in the pressure in the ocean and actually swim ashore. And there's a timeline behind this too. 2011, several of these fish washed ashore in Japan right before they had a 9.1 earthquake and tsunami. Same thing in 2017 in the Philippines. They spotted oarfish and then they had an earthquake. Same thing in Mexico in 2020. Spotted some oarfish, had an earthquake. Same thing in 2024. 3 of these oarfish were spotted in California for the first time in 125 years. Shortly after that, in December, there was an earthquake. The other reason I'm not...
Three means understanding, man. So that's a sign in itself that, you know, the Most High is letting this fish be like a little indicator to the wrath that's about to come. You know, so there's a lot of things, man, happening. You know, as the woman said, it's from the pressure, you know, from within the sea, or the sea deep, I should say, the deep sea. You know, the deeper levels of the sea, which would then was causing it to rise up to the surface, which means if the pressure from the deep sea is high, it means there's something's triggering it, which of course is again Leviathan. You know, and also these are just signs of things to come.
Fucking with this is because it's not just deep sea creatures that are beaching themselves. 150 whales just beached themselves in Australia and they don't know why. I'm not saying impending disaster is coming or a natural disaster is coming, but the ocean sure seems to know something.
Remember, scriptures talk about there'll be earthquakes in diverse places, man. And if I recall, that's Matthew 24. You know, earthquakes in diverse places or different places, man. So this all aligns with scriptures.
Yeah, and they don't know why. I'm not saying impending disaster is coming or a natural disaster is coming, but the ocean sure seems to know something.
The thing is, yeah, obviously they taught him, I haven't done much research, but I presume that they taught the gorilla sign language, you know, of some sort. And point is, he's saying nature sees, really, that translates to Yahweh sees, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua sees what's going on here, how Esau's been ruling the earth. You know, in the sign language, he also said, the gorilla said, Coco said, that what did he even say? That man is stupid. That man that is referring to is Esau Edom. You know, because when, you know, let me even get that precept as well. Get that precept. Wicked beareth rule. Is it Job 9? I think it's Job 9 and 24. Well, it's still related though. So Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? See? Now, hold on. Let's get something. Because this is why that gorilla was quite sad and angry, man. Because, you know, man is stupid. That Esau, Edom is stupid. Remember, children of fools, children of base men. So Proverbs 29 and 2. Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Even the creation groans as well, man, as the scriptures say. So it's all alluding to all of this, man. But yeah, let me get my final precept and just wrap up the video, man. Because, you know, the point is proven, okay? The point is proven. Leviathan is waking up, man. Alright, so wisdom of Solomon. This is really a precept going into the wrath of the time to come. So Wisdom of Solomon 11 verse 17. For thy almighty hand that made the world of matter without form wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions or unknown wild beasts full of rage, newly created, breathing out either fiery vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke. Again, Leviathan is also described like this as well. Or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes, you know, laser eyes, you know, fire eyes. Verse 19, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. That's related to Luke 21, verse I think 27, causing men's hearts to fail. You know, so yeah, man. Let me see. Let me just double check that. Causing men's hearts to fail, man, making them faint. Let's see. Well, I know it's in Luke 21 somewhere. Luke 21 and 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So them hearts failing for fear, it relates to Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 19, where it says, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. So people will faint, literally just from seeing Leviathan and all these other unknown wild beasts, you know, full of rage, newly created. So yeah, man, that's really the point out. Give me Yaratazar, you know, they edified. And, you know, as I can say, on to the next one, man. But yeah, so Yahbashim Yashab Brakatha and double honest to Muslim apostles. Thadi how Thadi Yashab for the strength in order to make this video. And once more, Shalom.